Let's go.
Seems like probably had some teachable moments there at halftime. Just curious what some of those conversations were, and then obviously pleased with the response after the break.
Well, I really just talked about picking up the energy, which we did. They had the one kid that almost had all the points in the first half, so it's like, and we kept leaving them. We had a lot of turnovers at halftime. That was the other thing, and they capitalized on them. So, really, in the end, it was about picking up the energy. That was it. Let's pick our energy up, and everything else will fall into place, and it did.
You mentioned the turnovers, obviously the 9 in the first half, and I think it was just 3 in the second half. Was there anything in particular you guys did differently that led to the better success in the second half?
Just sloppy. It was just sloppy in the first half. Some of our, a lot of unforced turnovers, jumping in the air, throwing passes. So we just talked about taking care of the ball at halftime. Just take care of the ball better. That's it. We take care of the ball better, then we'll push the lead out.
And obviously JJ had the double-double. He's looked really good in these 3 games. I guess just what did you make of his performance, and how have you kind of thought he's come along so far?
No, he's doing well. Doing the things we ask him to do. This tournament is about learning. So, getting better at the things each game. That's what we talk about. I thought he did a great job of somewhat playing on balance, rebounding the ball, So he's been playing a lot of 4. Cal's been on him about, I need you to go rebound. So he rebounded both ends. That's why he got the double-double. And I think, in transition, Cal's letting him push it. So he rebounded. Now he got to make good decisions, and he did that tonight.
Obviously, you started Caleb tonight. Just what went into that decision, and what did you kind of make of him?
Cal just wanted to give him a chance with the older guys. Okay, so that was one of the things, and make it a little bit easier for him. That second group is almost all freshmen. So at times, hey, they play like freshmen. So he wanted to give him an opportunity, get him some confidence of playing with the older guys. They'll put him in place a little bit more. They'll make sure he's running the right things and doing all those things like that. Billy, he's better, helping them. Jeremiah, those guys are veteran players. So you put those guys in places where you can talk to them and get those guys doing the right things.
Both Caleb and Davion, they've just been with you guys for maybe a couple weeks at most, but they're playing, contributing good minutes. What has impressed you about them so far?
They're talented kids. Caleb is a strong, physical kid. He's going to get a lot better. I think he's going to get a lot better as the time goes on. And Davion, I've been talking to him a lot about, running the team. It's not just coming down and passing the ball. Like most people think point guards just bring the ball down and pass it, but being a little bit more verbal. He can really shoot. You can see that he can really shoot. And, just got to learn some of the little things of, who you're passing it to, when you're passing it to, those things like that. It's not AAU where you just throw it to a guy just go make a play. You got to control the game a little bit. Sometimes you got to control the game with the ball. Sometimes you got to control the game verbally. And in these situations, that's what you try to teach them. Hope they learn it.
I feel like the team's coming together more as they play these games. And what have you seen from a coaching standpoint of how this team has responded to what they've been up against?
No, I think the team has done a good job because, you're sort of in an accelerated course coming down there. Plus, we were adding to people every week, which makes it a little bit different. You know what I mean? You're adding people every week. But again, like tonight, I talked about just picking up your energy. That makes a big deal. But I think we got a chance to be very good on defense, especially when you have a ball hawk like Jordan. Everybody else got to fall into place. But, it wasn't one of the things we sort of emphasized before we got down here. But I think our energy and our athleticism, all those things like that, will come into place as we get better at the smaller things you're looking for during the season. Now, I've been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot of good teams in the summer. You know what I mean? So we got to carry that over. But, when you watch them, they're good. I think the energy of the team is very good. We're athletic. We're physical for a young team. And we just got to continue to get better at some of the little things you're going to have to learn in the fall when we get back.
Speaking of Jordan, that play he had on the baseline there in the second half where he went up, just flushed it. I mean, you guys see that practice all the time, I would think, but seeing it out here, live action, gives the team a lift, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. His energy is off the charts. Like I said, I've been around a long time. I haven't seen people play as hard as he does on every single play. Then he's strong, physical kid, but his energy level is unbelievable. He got a chance to be like a really, really good player. And because of that, and he's a guy with the ball, it gets to be infectious. You know what I mean? The guys around him have to play the same way. You know what I mean? Even if George's not scoring, he gonna go rebound, he gonna play good D, he gonna do all this stuff like that. And that carries over. When you got a guy that does that every single play, it only carries over.
I asked the other two guys too about John Wall being in the building tonight, playing in front of him, and then he got to speak to the team. What does that mean when you're able to, as a staff, bring guys back like that to talk to your
I
guys?
mean, it's great. I mean, he was a great pro. You know what I mean? I wasn't at Kentucky when Cal had him, so I actually played against him. We played against him when I was at Drexel. We played them, and they won their 2000th game his freshman year. So I took a little spanking. But I mean, those guys actually come back and talk about Cal a little bit and how he is. So now they're like, well, he spoke to John Wall like that, then I shouldn't get upset if he speaks to me like that. Those types of things are more meaningful than anything else. You know what I mean? This guy was John Wall, and those guys always come back and say Calvin got soft. You know what I mean? So no, seriously. So I mean, that's a big deal. He talked a lot about just being a big part of the team. Still talked about the messages that Cal gave him as a freshman. So that means it makes a big difference in your in how you played and in his career. You know what I mean? Cal asked him a question, boom, he came right off of it. This is what he talked about. So I think that's big. Guys look at that and say, here's a guy he's a borderline Hall of Fame player in the NBA. So now he's coming back giving the messages that Cal gave him when he first started as a freshman, which is now a little bit time ago. You know what I mean? It was a little bit time ago he's been playing.
This is probably the most physical of the 3 games you guys have played. I guess just how much of an adjustment was that, and how did you feel the guys kind of responded to that?
I thought the last 2 games were physical. I thought these guys made shots better than the other teams. I mean, and the one kid, like I said, he was on fire. Once we made the adjustment about not helping out off of him as much and sort of taking him out of it. Plus, I thought we tried to steal too much, you know what I mean, in the game. So just keep guys in front, make them take plays. I'm trying to pressure the ball without trying to steal it. They'll throw it to you. And that's what they started doing in the second half. But physicality-wise, our guards, they're going to be okay physicality-wise. Our big guys, and Caleb being in the start and being able to come and play, he does a good job physically against the big guys. That's going to really help us. Cooper, we talked about it the other day, about him being a little bit more physical. I thought he was much better today and rebounding the ball. So, like I said, these things are about learning. You know what I mean? You hope they get better. Hope they didn't stay this way. Hope they get better as we start getting back to the fall.
You
Part of
mentioned
the learning experience. I'm curious if this was by design, but you guys played the last game tonight, and then you're the earliest tip tomorrow. Was that part of the plan? And then I guess they can adjust the schedule and get these guys used to getting out of bed and getting themselves ready to play a little bit earlier.
That's not me. I just think everybody wanted to get home. You got to talk about the people who run the tournament about that one right there. But I doubt if we looked at it that way. I don't think we looked that far about we're gonna get them up early. No, I don't think that was part of it. We're just trying to get home tomorrow. That's it. The game is early. That's it.
You mentioned the defense. You guys forced 26 turnovers, hold them to a 30% shooting night. I guess just what has stuck out in particular that makes this team click so well in the defensive end so far?
When you're good on the ball, you're always a good defensive team. Everybody can sort of like take a step up on their man. All right, so like I said, Jordan is very good on the ball, and we got some guys who can be good on the ball. They're just not ready yet. I think Abdu could be good on the ball. I think Jeremiah, when it's all said and done, can be good on the ball, though he's a 3-year college player. But when you're good, and Billy Richmond is good on the ball, and we really haven't had to play him on the ball. Last year, we had to play him on the ball a lot because we thought he just kept people in front better than anybody else. Well, to be honest, doing this week, rarely had to do that because we got Jordan and a couple other guys. But when you're good on the ball, that really helps you everything else. Team's offenses start a little higher up. You put that pressure on them. Some guards, they panic, they give it up early, so they're not ready. You get discombobulate the other team when you can be really good on the ball. And I think that's going to be one of our strengths this year.
Good.